really kind of what I'm realizing is every single person goes through adversity. That's the guarantee of life, right? It's,
Absolutely.
and it's like when we're in it and it's rough and it's horrible and, we're like in the thick of it, you don't think you're going to get out of it. And you're like, you feel like it's going to break you, right?
Yes.
And it's like what I've learned, and I've been through it, some of it recently too. It's like you will get out. It sucks at the time and it's really hard, but you got to figure out how to take care of yourself and work through it and get out. And you will be stronger on the other side. You will. And then like, I wouldn't change any of the things I've gone through because I'm who I am today because of it. I'm stronger because of it. And now I can go share my story. And especially with women, like we suffer in silence.
Fear stops us from achieving our true greatness. Are you a professional woman who is feeling stuck, unmotivated, or burned out? Are you worried about your wellness? Are you letting fear stop you from crushing your goals? If you answered yes to any or all of these, then this is the podcast for you. Dr. Charmaine Gregory, night shift emergency physician, burnout thriver, and wellness champion, along with everyday heroes just like you, will explore how to face fear in our lives and emerge victoriously.
Hey, thanks for checking out this episode. Be sure to click the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you get notified when the next video comes out. It only takes 2 seconds to make 2 clicks. So let's do it. Let's get back to the video.
Hello, 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 Fearless Freedom Tribe. This is Dr. G, and we are back with another episode of the Fearless Freedom with Dr. G podcast. Today we have with us none other than Chelsea Husum, and she's going to tell us all about what she's up to, who she is, all of that great stuff. So are you ready to spill the tea, Chelsea?
Yep, let's do it.
All
Well,
right,
thank
let's
you
go.
so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Chelsea Husum. I live near Denver, Colorado. Right now, I own and operate a small construction company, and I'm loving doing that. This is my 4th full year doing that, and it's been growing, and I love it. I've kind of fallen into entrepreneurship. Never knew I wanted to do it, but I love it. I have 2 young sons. They're 7 and 10, keep me running around like crazy. And married to my husband of 12 years. So really just got into, I feel like I'm the queen of reinvention. I kind of got into this. I got out of college with a Spanish and broadcast journalism degree. And then the college loan bills started coming. So I'm like, oh man, I better get a job. So I went to some, a temp agency and was just doing like receptionist work for all these companies. And then this lady was like, you need to meet my sister. She needs a receptionist. So she hired me, and I got into experiential marketing and trade shows. So I worked there for 5-6 years. Just kind of had this feeling in my gut, like I liked it, but I didn't feel like I was doing anything worthwhile with my life, like what I was meant to do. So I quit, got my master's degree in education. Then I was a Spanish teacher for 10 years. So
Wow.
did that. Yeah. It's like, what's the complete polar opposite that I could choose? And then let's do that. Right.
That's great.
So did that. And then one day a kid called me an effing waste of space. And I was like, okay,
No
what?
way.
Yeah. I was like, I'm sorry, what? What just happened? And this was September. I remember looking over, it was like September 18th. And I was like, oh man, it's going to be a long year. And I don't think I like this anymore. And yeah, I made it through, but barely. And then I was desperate for a job, like anything at that point. I'm like, what am I going to do? I don't even know what I would go out in the world and do.
Yeah.
And I applied for a bunch of jobs. No one called me at all. I don't know if I was overqualified, if they just didn't like me. I don't know. And so I ended up taking a job at a small construction company as an office manager, got thrown in there, like didn't get trained really at all. It was
Wow.
kind of rough. I
Yeah,
cried a
yeah.
lot.
I believe
But
it. I mean, that's
but then
nuts.
like figured it out, and then I started my company, a few years later. So here we are.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is that the part. I mean, obviously you're meant for this path, right? I mean, that
Yeah.
the road led to this, but like it saddens me that that happened to you as you were teaching because, having teachers is so important,
It
good teachers
is.
in particular,
Mhm.
and to have them be treated that way is not cool.
It is sad. Yeah, a lot of my friends are they a lot of people I know want to do something else, but maybe that's all they've done since college. And again, they're like,
Okay.
what do I do? What do I
Yeah.
go out in the world and do? And it is scary. It's almost you're starting over pretty much. I would hire a teacher in a second. I think they handle a million things, like they're hard workers. You
They're
know what I
very
mean? I would
organized.
personally,
Yeah.
but
They're
I
pretty
don't know.
organized
It's
and
it's scary.
yeah. Yeah. That's wild. And then but now you're in construction, which is kind of, like you said, very different from teaching.
Yes. Yes.
Um, and so like, so what do you do? Like, are you just build houses? You build offices? Is it residential or
So we work
industrial?
in commercial construction and we do core drilling, which is it is the circular cutting in concrete in floors or walls.
Okay.
So it cuts the holes, and we also do concrete scanning. It's called ground penetrating radar. So it's this little machine that scans the concrete, and it's mainly for safety. It'll tell you where things are in the concrete so that you don't cut into them. And then
Okay.
we do the cutting. So mainly our biggest clients are electrical companies and mechanical companies and some general contractors. And so we just kind of just cut all the holes in the floors or the wall that they need, and then they come in and fill it with all their stuff. So it's totally really
That is, I mean,
thing.
because as I'm listening to you and I'm like, holy
You're like, wait,
smokes, that
that
is
even
so
exists?
like specific. Like,
It is.
how? Like, wow, that is, because there's like, I mean, when you think about it, like all the things that happen around us, we're kind of like, oh, that just happens. No, it doesn't just happen. Like there are steps, there are like little pieces that have to put together.
Yep.
And so it's like really fascinating to hear about that piece because now
Yeah.
it's like there is a specialist that drills the holes or makes the
There are
holes.
so many jobs out there that we have no clue about that are so specific that you're like, what?
Wow.
Yeah, like that. It's weird.
So did you learn about this particular niche when you were working at the previous place, or how did you even learn about this?
No, I did a different type of construction at the different place, but a lot of the same things kind of overlap. But no, just saw it from different conversations, saw a niche that really I just started the company with the scanning.
Okay.
And because that was kind of easier to get into the market, and there's a lot of bigger companies in Denver that do it, but they maybe they're not like I'm small, I'm certified minority woman owned business,
Right.
all of that by city of Denver. So that is an advantage, but a lot of the companies might not be able to get on a site for like 3 weeks, and I can get on a lot faster.
Oh, I see.
They're like
Because of
so booked
volume.
out, and
Okay.
so it's like this weird, like little spot that I fill, that some people
That's
just want
great.
to work with a smaller company. And yeah, it's interesting.
No, that's fantastic. Because when you're starting out, people always say like, well, you will have an audience, like you will have a clientele. You just have to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that you ask the questions like, what do you need? And then you
Yep.
feel that need. So
Yep.
that's awesome. That is so
Thank
awesome.
you.
And then of course it's not like common for women to be in construction, right? I mean,
No, I think in all of construction, there's like 10% women, and
which is
definitely
not
like
much.
owners, way fewer owners. But the cool part is I've met tons of really amazing women in construction that some
Yeah.
of them have been in it 20, 30 years or more. So they
Okay.
like paved the way. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like back when it was probably way less. But I've actually met I have some friends that female owners of companies that are doing multi-million dollars, multiple millions every year. And they're
That's
just so
awesome.
freaking cool. And I just like they kind of have mentored me when I don't know. I call them. I'm like, hey, this happened. What would you do? And they're like, oh, honey, no, they're bullying you. No, move on. Like, don't worry about it.
Wow.
I'm like, because I
That's
worry,
good.
like, did I do something wrong? Or, because I just don't know. And yeah,
Right.
they've really stepped up. So it's actually really cool. It's a small percentage, but I've met a lot that are just absolutely incredible women.
Well, that's great because
Mm-hmm. It is.
mentorship is always very helpful when you're in a
Mm-hmm.
space, so having that is amazing. That's
Yeah,
great.
it is.
And so Did you have any fear when you went from like I don't know, teaching to construction?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I've kind of shown that I just jump into stuff. I'm a Gemini. I get really bored really easily. And I'm like, oh, well, if I'm not feeling it, I got to do something else. And so it's like, I think I'm just used to changing all the time or changing my
Okay.
mind and then be like, well, I'll try this. And I've proven that I can step into something totally new, learn, not knowing everything,
Right.
learn, work really hard and actually be successful. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think I've just become used to it. I jump and I'm like, oh, hopefully I land okay.
Oh my gosh. Wow. And so even like, so what was it that prompted you to do Spanish when in college? Like, was there
Yeah.
something that pulled you that way or?
Yeah. So I'd started with broadcast journalism. I wanted to be the next Barbara Walters. And then
Okay.
and then I was like, oh, it pays 20 grand a year and you work nights and weekends.
Yeah, it's not
Maybe
as
not. I don't really
glamorous.
want that. Yeah. And like the likelihood of making it to Barbara Walters is like nothing.
Yes,
So then
very
I was like,
small.
and actually I took 2 years of high school Spanish and I literally do not remember one word. Like I don't know how I made it through. I probably got an A or B because I was a good
Yeah,
student. I don't
yeah.
remember a word. That's like pathetic to even admit. I don't know what I was doing. And so I think in college I think I had to take like, I don't know, another credit or two.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, I guess I'll take Spanish. And I really what kind of got me interested in Spanish again is I had this professor named Richard and he just had the best stories. He told us he was in the Peace Corps in Ecuador in the like 60s
Oh
and he would
wow.
tell these stories and he's traveled extensively all over the world and he was just this cool guy. And so I really liked him and then I was like, "Oh, I'm actually kind of good at this." Again, I don't know what happened in high school, but
Right.
I was like, "I like this and I'm pretty good at it." So they had said, hey, we're taking a trip to Ecuador. He was leading a trip to Ecuador with the university. And I was like, oh, maybe I should try that. Sounds
Yeah.
cool. So I went and then we went for a month with a small group. And I'm just like, oh my God, I fell in love with it. The country is incredible. The people are so sweet and wonderful. I'm like arguing in Spanish with a taxi driver about
What? So your
politics. And I'm
Spanish
like,
really got
oh
good.
my God, it was really good
Spanish
back
was
then.
like,
Now
if
it's
you
pretty
get to the
bad.
point where though you get to the point where you could argue with a taxi driver, that
About
speaks volumes because
politics. I know. I was like, yes,
that is like huge. That's like the epitome
I
of
know. I'm
like
like,
your fluency.
yeah. So I studied there and then I, of course, this is typical me, but I fell in love with my tour guide. And so we kept in contact and I went back by myself for the next year for 3 months by myself.
Okay.
And so it was great. He and I didn't work out, which was fine. I still studied. I still traveled all over the country. It was great. So yeah, that kind of got, well, after I went, then I was like, well, I'm in a double major. So, cause I just loved it so
Okay.
much. So
Okay.
I was like, oh,
That's a great story. See, you talked
thank
about
you.
your inspiration story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that I was like, oh, okay. Spanish is, I don't know. People either they, they want to do that. They want to
Mm-hmm.
travel around and they want to learn Spanish so that they can do that. Or,
Mm-hmm.
they have a family that speaks Spanish and they don't. And
Exactly.
they want
Yeah.
to. So I just didn't know
There's always a reason. Yeah. You're like,
yes,
there's something
yes.
behind that.
Yeah, to have it as like a major is, it's unique.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
why. Awesome. And then so you've had the company now for a few years, you said, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Awesome.
Started in March 2020.
Oh wow, right in the middle of things.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so are you like what are your like so for 2024, what are your projections or what are you planning to
Yeah.
do as far as growth?
So like the first year, 2020, I really didn't do too much. So from that year to the next year, I grew like 1,600%. Then I grew like 68%. Then I grew like 50%. So I'm hoping to grow 40% this year. So it'll get me into
Okay.
7 figures. I'm in the high 6 figures,
Okay.
which is weird to me. I'm like, it's it's cool to know that I literally built this from nothing.
Right.
And I'm like, wait, what? Wow, that's me. It's like, I still don't really believe it sometimes. It's
Gotcha.
so cool. And I really am so proud of what me and my employees and we've all built. But yeah, so I'm hoping to get into 7 figures this year. My employees are fantastic. I got so lucky with them. They're experts at what they do. I kind of just let them go and they know what they're doing, and I'm here if they need me. And, I support them however I can, but they really have been the reason we've grown so quickly. It's like, I can get a job, but they're going to, if they're not good or my clients don't like them, they're not going to call us back. So, no, it's been really cool. And I don't know if we're still growing it. Like, I still have capacity to grow with the employees I have. So I don't know, maybe mid-year or later in the year, I'll hire someone. But as of right now, we're doing that. And so I kind of have that. And then I just wrote a book. So that's out this year, and I'm speaking and podcasting, and I want to start a podcast in my quote free time. So yeah, just all that passion stuff too, fills me up. So it's a really cool, I'm really excited about this year with all the different, I feel like it's 2 lives, construction and the rest, right? But it's kind of merging them together this year and just seeing where it goes. I'm excited. There's a lot of cool stuff going on.
Yeah. And then, so how do your kids feel? Because you have boys, you said, right?
Yeah. 7 and 10.
How do they feel about the construction business? Are they looking to get into, or?
Oh, I don't know. No, because my 10-year-old wants to be a pro NBA or NFL player. Like, he is sports kid, he won't even
NBA
sit
or
down
NFL. You kind of have to like hone into one of them,
I
because
know.
neither is easy.
I know. But you know what I say? And it's not easy, but I'm like, you know what? Go do it.
Oh,
There are
absolutely.
people
I'm
that
not
make
saying
it.
shouldn't
No,
do
I
it. I'm
know,
just
but
saying, like,
it's cute.
you still
I'm
gotta
like,
have a
babe,
plan.
you can do
You gotta have
both.
some
I'm like,
kind of
there's,
plan.
yeah, I'm like, there's some players that do both, but they're really, really talented. Just work hard, man. You never know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he wants to do NFL or NBA. The other one, today in the car, he said he wants to be an astronaut, or he wants to be a pro hockey player. It's all over the place with that one. But he's like,
that's the little one, right?
Yeah, we call him the honey badger. He's
Nice.
a spirited child.
I love it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
No, that's
who
good.
knows? I told them they can buy me a Lamborghini when they get rich and famous. I don't know.
There you go.
And they agreed.
Oh, they did. Okay, so that's
Yep,
that's
we're
a
good.
carrot. That's a benchmark for
Yep.
them. That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so this is like this is really cool to hear your story, because it seems like you have, like you said, reinvented yourself on several occasions, and including like in between, like in the middle of college. I mean, you went from like, and then you had an experience and you grew from that, and then you came back and you altered your path, which is huge. Did you have any fear associated with any of those situations?
I don't think I had fear associated with those. I've definitely been through a lot of adversity personally. So I think, sometimes I'd have more fear around that stuff that I'm going through, but really kind of what I'm realizing is every single person goes through adversity. That's the guarantee of life, right?
Absolutely.
It's like, when we're in it and it's rough and it's horrible and, we're like in the thick of it, you don't think you're going to get out of it. And you're like, you feel like it's going to break you. Right.
Yes.
And it's like, what I've learned, and I've been through it, some of it recently too. It's like, you will get out. It sucks at the time and it's really hard, but you got to figure out how to take care of yourself and work through it and get out, and you will be stronger on the other side. You will. And then I wouldn't change any of the things I've gone through, because I'm who I am today because of it. I'm stronger because of it. And now I can go share my story. And especially with women, like, we suffer in silence. We think, oh, we have to be these perfect moms, or we have to have this perfect career or whatever. And I'm sorry, but that's ridiculous to me. I hate that so much. And it's like, why can't we own our trauma? Own our voice, own our passion, own what we're going out and putting out in the world, and not feel bad about it, and like actually like link arms and be like, let's do this together and find other women who are out there kicking butt and getting excited and supporting each other, right? We don't need to feel alone in this.
No, I mean, I totally agree with you. I wish that was a general sentiment too, though.
Yeah, I guess I just try not. I just am not around those people.
I think that what happens is you have people like yourself, you know, and the women that you've encountered in your space, and you know, you have handfuls of people who are willing to do the work, because in order for you to be in a position where you feel comfortable just being who you are and owning your trauma, like you stated, you have to be in a certain place.
You do.
Yeah. And not everybody wants to do the work that gets you there because it's not easy.
Yeah. Well, and
so
to piggyback off that, like, do we have a little time?
Oh yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I'll show 2 examples of how different I encountered and dealt with adversity. So 20 years ago, so that second trip when I went to Ecuador, when I went to South America, my Spanish professor there, not the one from my college, but like one down there, he drugged me, raped me, and I woke up alone in an abandoned house by myself in South America. Like, probably could have been killed. I mean, it was just horrible. And that was 20 years ago. I never told a soul until this year. Like, really? 20 years, shoving it down, locking it, throwing away the key. I don't know why. I don't know. And I tried to get out. I kept getting electrocuted by this door. They have these big steel doors for like a half hour. I couldn't get out of this house. I was like in this weird place, clearly an abandoned house. I took a taxi back to school and saw his face because I didn't know where else to go in the same clothes. I didn't say a word. Like, why? I don't know. But that was me then. And I wasn't like, I hadn't done any work on myself. Right. And then fast forward to, almost 20 years later, I find out I'm in this lawsuit and I'm getting sued for millions of dollars. And it's just lies and just absolute, like, horrific, crazy heaviness, just soul sucking, horrible. Yes. I have my kids like, Mom, when are we losing our house? It's just like 2.5 years I dealt with this, 2.5 years. And by far, that is the worst experience of my life, was this lawsuit recently. But the difference, I'm like looking at these 2 traumatic things that have happened. The difference now is I would wake up in the middle of the night and be like, oh my God, my life is crumbling around me. Like it's just, I'm terrified, and I knew, get a therapist right now. You are not okay. Get outside, get in the sunshine, go work out, stop drinking, like, you're not drinking every day to numb this, because that's not going to help you. Like, I really had to look at my habits and be like, maybe I'm not going to so many meetings because I'm exhausted. I'm living in fear. I am depressed. I'm being attacked daily, and I just can't do it all. And so it's so weird to me that, I guess it's shown how much I've grown as a person, but like going from the thing 20 years ago where no healing happened there, right? It's almost like it's starting now because I wrote about it in my book and I'm voicing it.
You're talking about
right?
It more.
But I literally just told my parents like last week,
wow.
and it's so weird to me, but I've learned, like, we will go through hard things. And I know everyone, talking to people, there's so many people going through hard things or in the past, right? But to know yourself, you have to do the work. You won't make it through. And you have to get a therapist. You have to talk to somebody. You got to take care of yourself, or, you're just going to be absolutely miserable, and it's hard, but that is the way you're going to dig out. And that's the way you're going to come out stronger.
No, these are absolute truthful words, because there's no other way. I wish there were, but there is absolutely no other way. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that you are going through that right now. That is
Thank you.
absolutely horrible.
That ended finally at the
Oh,
end of
good.
last year.
Okay,
Thank
good,
God. I'm like, and my
good, good.
energy that is gone. It's weird, but how it's funny to me how I lived with this heaviness for 2.5 years. And all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I'm stepping into my old life that's like lighter and, just naturally
Yeah.
lighter and more joyful. And like, I keep waiting to feel that, like, to live in fear and feel scared and attacked, but it's not here anymore. And it's like, that's kind of what I'm going through right now is like, oh my gosh.
Like you're waiting for the rug pull and it's not,
Yeah.
you're like, when
Like,
is it
oh,
going
I
to
get to
happen?
live my normal life again. What?
Yeah.
It's been so long. It almost like it became a part of me, which is horrible.
That
Right.
is horrible. Oh my gosh.
I suffered through it for so long that was my reality. But now it's like, oh my gosh, I'm stepping out into the light again. Okay, this feels
No, that's
great.
great. That's good. That's great. Wow. Yeah, no, that's a long time to go through that for
It is,
sure.
yeah.
You know, as a physician, we do get sued no matter what, no matter how good we are, no matter what. And that feeling is not a nice feeling. So I can identify with what you're feeling there. It's not nice. So, but I'm glad that that is behind you now,
Thank
and
you.
that you're working on things, even the things that happened years and years ago. That's so important to work on. So,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Wishing you nothing but success and continue on
Thank
that
you.
pathway because it's so important. So
Thank
important.
you.
And so, you gotta, I'm curious. I guess I'm gonna have to wait to see though, which one your guy's gonna end up doing, or both. He's
Which
gonna do
what?
NFL or he's gonna do
Oh, I know.
NBA.
I don't
Is your
know.
husband tall?
Kind of. My husband was a baseball player, and my son's pretty athletic. Like, he's really good at
Okay.
both.
Okay.
So I'm like, really, it could go either way here,
Well,
bud.
so if his dad is a player, like
Yeah,
elite
like an
athlete, then the
athlete.
chances
Yeah.
are greater for him. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
You just never know because like a lot of kids say this,
They
but
all
you
say
never
it,
know if
right?
it's a
They
kid
do.
that like actually has the genetics to become an elite athlete or not, right? I
Yep.
mean,
Well,
that
and we
part.
tell him, like, yeah, you're naturally a gifted athlete, but eventually everyone's going to catch up to you. And what's going to make you stand out is your grit. Are
Yes.
you the hardest working one on there? Are you the most positive? That's what's going to eventually make you stand out. So, as you're getting to middle and high school and beyond, if you do that, great. And if not, you can go find something else to do too. But I'm like, my dad always told me, go out, you can do anything, you can be anything. And both my parents did, and it's like, heck yeah. If that is what you want to do, I will be right there in the front row wearing your jersey and I'll be screaming my brains out. Yeah, let's do this. That'd be so cool. And I told my other son tonight on the ride home from school, I'm like, I'll be standing there when the rocket ship takes off and you go to
There you
space.
go.
He's like, okay, cool,
Yes.
mom.
Very nice. Very nice. Who knows? By then, probably going to Mars.
Yeah.
So that'd be kind of neat. Oh man.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, those are good ages. Yeah.
Yeah, they're fun. You have kids. How many? How
I
old are
have
they?
3. Yeah.
3.
But one just turned 12 on Sunday, and the other one turned 14 a week ago.
Okay.
And then I have a 15-year-old.
Okay, those are fun ages. I love high schoolers. Like,
Yeah.
that's why I love teaching them because they're like adults. You just sit and you talk about
Yes.
whatever to them. They're so fun.
Yeah. The boys in high school is in 10th grade, but the middle girl is gonna start. She's in 8th grade right now, so she'll be in
Okay.
high school next year. Yeah.
Nice.
No, yeah. There is
Goes fast.
all the phases are fun,
They
and
are.
they do go by quickly. So yes, you're right. Enjoy them. Enjoy
Yep.
it. Yeah. Awesome. So we're at the point of the show where we do our tradition, which is a fill in the blank. Are you
Okay.
ready, Chelsea?
Yep. Let's do it.
Okay. All right. Here we go. The first one is, if I am fearless, I will.
Oh, I will thrive.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. The next one is, to me, fearless freedom means.
Taking my power back.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And then the last one is, my battle cry is.
You will get through it. You will. Don't let it break you.
Awesome. 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 And so you gotta, I mean, for those who are in the Denver area, who are potentially wanting to hire you or work with you, How
Mhm.
can they do so?
So if you want to check out my website, it's chelseahusum.com, CHELSEAHUSUM.com. There's all kinds of stuff on there, information about my book, speaking, all kinds of stuff. And then I will be adding, you can sign up for my email list and I'll be sending out some goodies. I always like to send out things that I use that personally that bring me joy or help me with healthy habits or different things like that. So, and I'm also I'm trying on my list, I'm trying to get a free chapter of my book to give away soon, different things
Okay.
like that. So,
Yeah. Great.
yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us here. And we
Thank
appreciate
you.
you and continue being amazing. And I would look forward
You
to hearing a
too.
lot of great things about your success.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of Fearless Freedom with Dr. G. Again, I'm Dr. G. And if you like this episode, be sure to subscribe so that you can get notified of when the next episode is going to be. And also, I'll catch you next time. Have a great one. Be strong, be brave, and unleash your greatness.